Peace to all the guys coming into the building. Can y'all hear me now? Because last time I had to stop it because you guys couldn't hear me. Can y'all hear me? Peace, God. Peace, God. Appreciate that. Shout out to the good brother 19 Keys. Can y'all hear me now? How's the volume, family? How's the volume? Okay. You said good. So the volume's good. Y'all can hear me now. Okay, appreciate it. But, today we want to talk about the end game. That's what we want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about the end game and what is the end game for black people in America. What are we pushing for? What's the end game of the revolution? What are we pushing for? That's a very important topic. What are we pushing for, family? And, first, before we get started, I want to say, may our good brother Rashad Brooks, right here in Atlanta, who was gunned down last night by race soldiers, may he rise in power. May our brother continue to fuel the revolution in a spiritual form. So I want to say, may that brother rise in power. Oftentimes I've almost become immune to black people being gunned down by the cops. Not in the sense that I'm not conscious of it, but in the sense that I rarely show emotions now. But those type of incidents, every time one of our brothers or sisters is gunned down, it hits home. It hit home, family. It hits home. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, gunned down by these race soldiers. And one thing we can learn from our brother Rashad Brooks is how to have a good death. How to have a good death. See, the moment those race soldiers right here in Atlanta, they put their arms around that brother's neck, he said, fuck it. He said, the price of freedom is death. The moment they tried to put him in the chokehold, he started taking tasers. If I gotta go out like that, if it's my time, if I know I'm finna die, listen, you might as well go out fighting. You see what I'm saying? That brother whooped those two officers and tried to run for his life. Yeah, you got to fight for your life. You see what I'm saying? Our brother had a good death. He had a good death, family. He went out fighting. He didn't go out screaming and hollering. And I'm not saying that to disrespect any of our ancestors who did go out that way. But you see what I'm saying? If it's your time, because see, everybody knows when it's their time. Our brother probably knew when that officer put his arm around his neck. He probably knew when that officer put his arm around his neck, it was his time. And our brother took that taser. He started whooping ass. The spirit of Ogun came through that brother. Exactly, self-preservation. The spirit of Ogun came through that brother. He said the price of freedom is death. I'm finna make a run for it if I gotta go out. And that's how you go out, family. So rest in power to our brother Rashad Brooks. Our brother Ahmaud Arbery was fighting too down there in Georgia. You see, our brother Ahmaud Arbery said, fuck it. If I gotta go out, I'm finna at least break some jaws going out. You see what I'm saying? They didn't wait and they didn't ask them why. Hey, why are you doing this to me? They already knew. They already knew. They are in a war. They already knew. Listen, I already know what's up. I'm finna break some jaws. Somebody gonna try to come with me. So we salute brothers like that. See, that spirit, family, is contagious. That spirit is contagious. When you have brothers fighting back, that's contagious. See, in the Haitian Revolution, they would do things, for example, it was a revolutionary down there in Haiti called named Mackendall. And Mackendall was known for poisoning white supremacists. He would teach brothers and sisters how to poison, and when they finally caught Mackendall, they beheaded him. And they put him on a spike because they thought that would scare other people. But in fact, it motivated the Haitian people. See, that rebellious energy spiritually, you see what I'm saying? Once you get into that form, that old goon energy survives long after you gone. You see what I'm saying? That motivated the Haitian people. The Haitian people embraced Mackendall after that. They carried his spirit to continue the revolution. That's pretty much what kicked off the 1804 Haitian Revolution. See, we need more warrior brothers like that. And I'm going out there to the site tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to stop by there today, but I'm going to go by there tomorrow because I need some of that energy. Yeah, you got to pick up that energy. When brothers go out fighting and swinging, that's contagious. That's contagious. More so than brothers going out, just submitting, just going down like an animal. Don't ever go down like an animal, family. If it's your time, it is your right. Your God-given right to fight for your life by any means necessary. You see what I'm saying? And our brother Rashad Brooks did that. Our brother Ahmaud Arbery did that. Our brother Micah Johnson. Y'all don't remember Micah Johnson a couple years ago. He was responsible for taking down some of those race soldiers out there in Dallas. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the price of freedom is death. The price of freedom is death. You see what I'm saying? But today, that's what we want to talk kind of about. We want to talk a little strategic strategy today. I want to talk about the end game. And like I say, what is the end game for black people? Peace, God. Peace, Nelson. I want to talk about what is the strategy, what is the end game for black people in America, because right now we have the system of white supremacy in a position they haven't been in a long time. You know, these white supremacists have been living comfortably pretty much for the last 60 years. They haven't really seen us turn up like that as a whole across the nation and really across the world in a long, long time. So they're panicking right now, family. They're very desperate right now. And what we have among white society is we have a lot of infighting. And see, the moment we get them infighting is the moment we know we're winning. Whenever you have white people going at other white people's neck, you see what I'm saying? That's the moment you know you have them winning, because white people are masters at staying on code. They're known to stay on code. But right now we have white people going at other white people's neck. If y'all saw that old elderly white guy got pushed down by the Buffalo Police Department, they're off code right now. White people are panicking. They don't know what to do. I saw a video the other day where an old white man attacked the little white child. They're off code. They're panicking. See, because they can't harm the Negroes anymore. They can't harm the Negroes anymore. Usually that's who they do it to. They do it to our elders in our community, our children. But they can't do that right now because it's too dangerous. See, you mess with a black child right now, you likely to get your whole family killed right now. It's people showing up at your house now. You see what I'm saying? So now they're settling for members of their own society. Because we have to remember, they love to spew all this black on black crime nonsense. But white on white crime is the oldest crime. Remember, in Europe, they were fighting each other for thousands of years. That's why they could never build anything. They've always fought each other. It wasn't until they got dead, broken down with diseases over there and the Moors had to come save them, they stop all that infighting. They tear down their own empires. So now they're going back to that old mentality, family. You see what I'm saying? They're going back to their old mentality. They're fighting each other right now. They're panicking in the streets. They're also putting their coons into overdrive. You dig? They're putting their coons into overdrive. The Republican Party, they've been sending out their watchdogs like Candace Owens, who is, a scum of the earth, a coon, bottom barrel coon at that. You see what I'm saying? She's going and she's justifying the deaths of black people. She's repeating white supremacist talking points. Because that's all they ever do, by the way, anyway. That's all they ever do. So Candace Owens is doing what she does. And understand that she's getting funded by the white supremacists. She's nothing but a talking point. When you look at Candace Owens, you might as well be envisioning a white person saying that. Because that's all she repeats, white people's talking points. You see what I'm saying? And what we gotta start doing is this. We have to stop giving our energy to these coons. Stop sending me posts about what Candace Owens said. Candace Owens is a coon. She is not a member of our community. She is in exile. And she is in a permanent exile. You see what I'm saying? We have to rid her. She is not black anymore, family. She is coon. That is her race. That what needs to show up on her driver's license. Coon. She is not a member of the black society anymore. Stop paying attention to Candace Owens. Because people like Candace Owens, she's a honorary white supremacist. And one thing we know about white people, they feed off black people's energy. They feed off tears. This is why you could be crying and doing all this and begging in front of them, and they continue to do it. They feed off that. It's like a vampire almost. They suck the life out of you because they constantly do stuff to feed off you. You see what I'm saying? Don't pay attention to the Candace Owenses of the world. Charge it to the game. You see what I'm saying? When Candace Owens comes around black folks, she should be looked at as an enemy. She should be looked at as an enemy, and she should be handled how an enemy is handled. Now, I'm not going to go no further because I don't want to incriminate myself, but I'm going to just leave it at that. However you handle your enemies, that's how she should be handled when she comes around. You see what I'm saying? Because every time these elections come close and we do things like the Revolt Summit, Diddy holds the Revolt Summit, she seems to pop up to want to talk about a black agenda. She's not black. She should not be near black folks. She should not be near black folks. Stop feeding into the Candace Owenses of the world. You see what I'm saying? That is a coon. That is her race. Yeah, that is a coon. And let me break down, again, I got to break this down every live. What is a coon? See, I'm not calling Candace Owens a coon because she has a difference of opinion. I'm fine with brothers and sisters having difference of opinion. Candace Owens is a coon because she deliberately spews things that are dangerous, that gives white supremacists a license to kill, saying that George Floyd wasn't a good guy. So basically, he deserved what he got. He sold drugs. He deserved what he got. See, those type of people we're not going to tolerate. You dig? We're not going to tolerate that. Coons are very dangerous. And see, she does this and she knows better. She knows what she's saying is BS. But she does it anyway for her own trinkets, her own butter biscuits, her own money. She gets rewards out of it. And those type of people we have to charge to the game, family. And it's not just the Republican Party. The Democrats have sent out their coons as well. Because like I said, family, they're very desperate right now. I'm going to get to some of the questions. They're very desperate right now. So the Democrats have sent out their coons. The Terry Cruzes of the world. The Terry Crews came out earlier this week and was talking about black supremacy. Did y'all see that? Yeah, Candace Owens is a bad wench. But she's a bad wench who actually thinks she has a power. And this is the thing about coons. Coons don't understand this. Family, a coon doesn't understand that white people, once they're done with you, they're done with you. You can do all this cooning and they're going to throw you away when they're done with you. Once Trump gets elected, they're going to throw Candace Owens away. And that's what she doesn't understand. But that's okay because we're going to show her. Because when he does throw her away, they're going to try to come run back to the black community. And that's when we got to be ready with the foot. You see what I'm saying? We got to be ready with the spirit of Ogun. You dig? Yeah, Terry Crews. But like I was saying, the Democrats have sent out their big coons. Terry Crews came out talking about some black supremacy. He came out talking about saying, black people, if we expect to have real change, and I'm summarizing, he said, if we expect to have real change without white folks, that's black supremacy. Terry the Coon Fairy. Oh my goodness. Terry, there's no such thing as black supremacy. You can't have black supremacy without black power. We don't have black power. We don't have economic power. We don't have military power. We don't even have majority population power. We have no power, Terry the Fairy, Terry the Coon Fairy. You see what I'm saying? We have no power right now, family. What is this coon talking about? Ever since Terry the Fairy said he got grabbed sexually by, what was his name, Weinstein, this brother has not recovered. And we about to charge him to the game. I've been trying to give him a little leeway. But I think it's time for us to charge him to the game. Because at this time, when we give coons leeway, more of us die. And we can't afford to give leeway anymore. Yeah, Terry the Fairy started talking about some white supremacy. And a lot of black people have this mentality that white people have to be involved in the revolution. Oh, white people, Lord, you need to find you some good white friends. Lord, we ain't got no white folks. It ain't no real revolution. Sit down. Sit down. White people have had their opportunity for 400 years to participate. And they decided not to. They decided to turn the other cheek. They don't want to look at the crimes that have been done to black people. Now all of a sudden we gotta sit here and involve we gotta give positions out to white people. And Lord, we can't do it without no white folk. Sit down, Terry the Fairy. You see what I'm saying? A lot of our people think that way. Gotta have some white folk. White folks is our problem. That's just like saying, in order to beat our enemy, we gotta have our enemy on our team. That don't make sense. Now, if white people want to participate, they can participate, but we ain't got no friends. We need to be clear for that off rip. We don't have no allies, family. We don't have no friends at the end of the day. We got to be clear on that. Black people, we do not have friends. Because understand this, Dr. Martin Luther King, look at history. Go back and look at those marches with Dr. King. And this is for all my Negroes out here who keep spewing this nonsense. Ooh, this a real revolution. Look how many white people involved. It was hella white people on the bridge with Dr. King, family. Do y'all not understand that? It was hella white people getting beat up in Selma. But we've been still dealing with white supremacy 60 years after that. We have to get out this symbolism thing. We like symbolic gestures. See, when we start talking about resources, then all the white friends go away. Notice ain't no white people really talking about no resources. It was a governor out there in Kentucky. He was talking about free health care. We respect him for that. Now he's talking, but we've got to stay on top of his neck about that because we don't want any more empty promises. Because we have to understand, in the 60s, after you had the long, hot summer of 1967, this was when black people were turning up all across the country. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say this is the first time since the 60s we've been turning up like this. You had the Newark riots. You had the Tampa Bay riots. You had riots at colleges and HBCUs. I believe Texas State University or Texas Southern. Which one is the HBCU? Texas Southern had a rebellion out there. You had riots all across the country. And during this time, after that, white people studied. Because remember, they're very strategic with what they do. They had something called the Kerner Commission. And in the Kerner Commission, they said, why are black people turning up? And somebody said, well, I think it's because of racism. They're tired of racism. And the white people said, listen, we've always been racist. We've always been racist. Why are they turning up now, though? And they said because black people keep getting promised things and they're not receiving it. See, they never want to promise us any tangible things. They never want to promise us any tangible things. So they stay away from promising us stuff. They never want to talk about reparations, never want to talk about anything that's tangible to the black community. And that's what we have to understand, family. So we have to stay on their neck. Just because they say certain things don't mean it's the end all be all. We also have to pay attention to detail, family. We have to pay attention to detail. People of color, them saying they're going to do something for minority communities, people of color, the urban community, that does not mean black people. You dig? That does not mean black people. We have to make policies specifically for black people. You see what I'm saying? All this, because the governor or the mayor out there in LA talked about he was going to do something for people of color. He's going to reallocate those billions of dollars he took from the police and he's going to give it to people of color. Family. White women are people of color. Native Americans are people of color. The Latino community are people of color. You see what I'm saying? LGBT are people of color. That don't mean it's going to black folks. Because see, what happens is everybody likes to piggyback off our trauma and our pain. We the ones getting killed in the street. But then when it's time to get some tangibles, we got to split it with all these other groups. And then we end up getting crumbs. Even though we on the front line getting hit upside the head all the damn time. You see what I'm saying? We got to pay attention to keywords and details. Like I said, yeah, we watching out for these coons. Like I said, Terry the Fairy and this black supremacy crap. Also, they like to send out their LGBT coons like Billy Porter. Billy Porter came out this week because we were talking about systematic racism. And Billy Porter got his moist self up there on the camera and he started talking about racism is bad, but the black community, we have to address homophobia in the black community. Terry, sit your ass down somewhere. Sit down, bruh. Don't come to black folks in times like this talking about some homophobia. Black people, family, and I don't think you've ever heard this, black people are not homophobic. We've never been homophobic. Black people don't like things being forced down our throat. Every black family got somebody who is homosexual in their family or a member of the LGBT community, and we've always had a member in our family. Always had a member. You don't hear any things about black people stoning and killing gay people. There's no Stonewall rebellion in our community. You see what I'm saying? We don't have stuff like that. And the nerve, the audacity of members of the LGBT community to sit up here and blame black folks, try to say we make us the face for homophobia is laughable. It's laughable. You see what I'm saying? It's laughable, especially given the racism within the LGBT community. See, Negroes like Billy Porter ain't talking about those white racist LGBT members of his society. One, because he sleeps with a white man. That's one thing. Because remember, I respect these coons and I look at these coons and I take them serious. But I always look at the puppeteers. Who's controlling them? He sleeps with a white man every night. That's one thing. He sleeps with a white man every night. This is why he doesn't call out the racism in the white LGBT community, because they have a long history of it. Understand, you have notorious slave owners who were members of the LGBT community. You have people like the first governor of the province of New York and New Jersey, Lord Cornbury. Look up Lord Cornbury. You see what I'm saying? I believe his last name is spelled Cornbury, Cornbury. Lord Cornbury. He was responsible for expanding the slave trade up north in the early 1700s. This was a member of the LGBTQ community. Billy, please somebody tag Billy, screen record this and tag Billy, because I want him to call out the racism. Because see, these Negroes, they always go out their way to call out black folks. Oh, black society, we got to do better. Black people, we got to do this. But won't say nothing about the racism in their white LGBT community. You see what I'm saying? James Hammett was another one. I believe his name was James Hammett. He was another one. He was responsible for coining the term cotton is king down south during slavery. He was a notorious slave owner. He coined the term cotton is king. He was bisexual. He was known for raping his black male slaves as well as the female slaves. Let's talk about toxic homosexuality, Billy, and the racism within the white community. Since you want to talk, make us the face of homophobia. We've been the biggest victims of homosexuality. We've been the biggest victims. Let's talk about FBI directors like J. Edgar Hoover, who was an LBGT member, who created policies like COINTELPRO. And if you don't know what COINTELPRO, this was probably one of the most destructive policies in Black American history. He was the one who said, let's prevent the rise of a black messiah. He was the one responsible for the assassination of Malcolm X, because they assassinated Malcolm. You see what I'm saying? They had so many informants around Malcolm, and Hoover was the head one. Hoover was the top dog. He was the one calling for all this. The assassination of Martin, because remember, Martin was assassinated in the hospital. Martin survived the gunshot on those hotel steps in Memphis, and he was assassinated by doctors in the hospital. This is a fact that has been proven in court in that 1998 lawsuit that King's family won that said he was assassinated in the hospital. This was J. Edgar Hoover behind all this, family. He was behind the destruction of the Black Panther Party. He was going after them heavy. Let's talk about the LBGT, the white racism in the LBGT community. Billy, the audacity of this clown to sit up here and talk about we need to do something in the black community, but you won't say nothing about the racism within your own community. The audacity, the thing that really makes me mad with these LBGT coons, they love to sit up here and bash their own community. They love to sit up here and bash black folks, when black folks is the reason you have every right you have today. Understand, family, they eat off those civil rights acts we got in the 60s. They're the ones who get all the protection from that. Black folks, we don't get no protection for that. The LGBTQ community eats off of that. Obama, the black president, black folks elected. Remember, we came out in record numbers to elect Obama. Obama passed more LGBTQ legislation than any president. And you gonna come after us? You gonna come after us talking about we need to correct something? Man, sit down, man. These coons, man. These coons are out of control. These coons are out of control. After you've been eating off us. Your community has been eating off us, Billy. Since the beginning. Everything they get from us. All this people of color crap, they get protected under that. We were the ones facing dogs and fire hoses. There wasn't no white LGBTQ members out there in the 60s. We were the ones getting lynched. We were the ones on plantations dying for your community's rights. And then you're going to turn around and say something about us? We the face of homophobia. We got to address homophobia. Damn, we the only one who been addressing it. We the only one who been acknowledging your community. Don't no other president do nothing for the LGBT community. It took a black man to do that. And meanwhile, he didn't do nothing for black folks. He was the first LGBT president, was Barack Obama. If I'm lying, family, call me out. They want to talk about, homophobia in the black community. Oh, they love to try to make us the face of that. They love to try to make us the face of homophobia. Get out of here. Get out of here. When we've been victims of your community for 400 years. And I just talked about white supremacists in the United States. I just talked about white supremacists from the LGBT community in the United States. Remember, they were known, they had a process called buck breaking in Jamaica. And our brothers and sisters in Jamaica will tell you about this. And when you have members of white LGBT society who would break the male slave, they would rape him. That was part of the seasoning of a slave. They would do this in front of the women. We are victims of the LGBT community. But that's like traditional white supremacist society. See, white supremacy, they love to blame the victim. They're victimizers. They're victimizers. They love to tell us stop playing victim, but they're victimizers, family. That's what they do. They've been raping us and making us engage in sexual acts that are anti-human for years during slavery. But then they turn around and blame the victim. We the ones who, we anti-homosexuality. We the ones who, they really homophobic in the black community. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. You see what I'm saying? We had brothers like James Baldwin putting in work for us. And nobody ever, we supported the shit out of James Baldwin. James Baldwin was a member of the LGBT community. What's the brother who just passed away? That was a great singer. He was a member of the LGBT community. We've always supported LGBT people. Come on, man. What's the brother who just passed away? A legendary singer. Yeah, Michelle Obama, they go out their way. We go out our way to cape for LGBT community. And then they love to turn around and make us the poster child. Man, miss me with that shit. Miss me with that. And we're going to start calling you out on that. And y'all can, Lil Richard, exactly, Lil Richard. Prince possibly was a member of the LB, but we didn't care. Prince was wearing tight pants. Prince probably did a little something. We didn't care. We've been rocking with Prince. Been supporting since day one. Man, get out of here. Y'all know how it is, family. Y'all know how it is. And see, and that's just not members of the LGBT community, because if you haven't seen lately, for example, other groups, they're so used to us. They're so used to beating up on us. They're so used to eating off our plate that when they can't eat off our plate anymore, when we are not the victims anymore, when we're doing the bullying now and we're throwing our weight around, they love to holler victim. You see what I'm saying, family? They love to cry victim. Just like, for example, Uber Eats. Did y'all see Uber Eats? Shout out to Uber Eats. Uber Eats came out, and I'm summarizing, but they pretty much waived fees for black businesses, black-owned restaurants. I think they pretty much waived the delivery fee for black-owned restaurants. Shout out to Uber Eats. Because, see, when we talk about tangibles, they on the front line. Shout out to them. And once they waive these fees, family, and I've been telling y'all about this fake symbolism within the white community. See, they're more willing to support when they're just out there marching. See, we're not getting that. And they don't want us to ever get anything, but they'll march with us. As soon as Uber Eats announced that, family, I want y'all to go look at the comment section. Look at all the white tears. I love it in the comment section. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at all the white tears in the comment section. They've been crying. Oh my God, dude. This is so racist, bro. Oh, dude. I mean, the niggers are getting it all, man. Oh, the founding fathers wouldn't like this, bro. This is reverse. You can't solve racism with reverse racism. They're crying. Oh, the white tears. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. See, the moment you do to them what they've been doing to you, now they want to cry victim. So to all these people who are mad at Uber Eats, my white folks, come listen to me. Listen to me now. I'm going to keep the same energy. I'm going to give you the same advice you've been giving us. What I want you to do, if you don't like it, I want you to go back to Europe. If you don't like it, I want you to go back to Europe, white folks. Latinos, if you don't like it, go back to Mexico. Because that's what y'all tell us. I'm just keeping the same energy. When we don't like something, you say, leave the country. Leave the country, dude. My forefathers built this country. Leave the country, dude. That's what y'all tell us. So, white folks, Latinos, anybody else, Asians, if you don't like it, leave the country. Or guess what you can do? You can pick yourself up by your bootstraps. That's what you tell us all the time. You dig? That's what they tell us all the time, is pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Oh, why are you guys crying? My Mima came over here with 5 cents and she turned that into profitable businesses. Stop. Stop. See, these groups are so used to eating off of us. So now when we get something specifically for us that they can't eat off of, that they can't capitalize off, now it's, oh God. Oh God, dude, what are we going to do, man? No, you're going to hold your own nuts. That's what you can do. That's what you can do. Hold your own nuts. There's nothing big. You see what I'm saying? Because they love to act like they've been holding their own nuts for so long. You dig? Yeah, hold your own nuts, Carlos. Little Marie. Su Young Sue. Hold your own nuts. Y'all love to come up here and act like you picked yourself up by your bootstraps anyway when you know we know you didn't. You've been eating off us since day one. We don't owe these groups nothing, family. Let's get that out our head. Black folks, please hear me on this. If you don't hear nothing else from this live, you do not owe anybody anything. They owe us everything, though. Understand it. We are the reason why these Mexicans and people from South America, non-black people, get to come over here. They benefit off our ancestors, the blood, sweat, and tears that we built in this country. See, they love to talk about how they came over here with 2 cents in their pocket. They love to do that, especially members of the Latino community. Oh, we just came over here. We had 2 cents in our pocket, and we're just hard workers, man. Listen. You were hard workers in Mexico, but Mexico wasn't popping. You dig? You were working hard over there in South America, and you were still living in shanty towns. The difference is you were able to come over here and benefits off the fruits we laid down, our ancestors fought and died for. You had access to capital that we built when we were building this country. You dig? That's the reason why you were able to do what you do. Members of the Chinese community, members of the Latino community, white folks in general. You see what I'm saying? See, they love to talk about that hard work crap. Don't let them fool you with that hard work crap. They were over in Ireland eating potatoes. Couldn't even afford no meat. They were eating potatoes all damn day. And then when they came over here and they didn't have a competitive class, remember, because they had all type of handouts. They love to talk about black people. Oh, reparations, you're looking for handouts. They are the king of handouts. Remember, if you came over here, if you came to like North Carolina and South Carolina in the 1700s, they would give you 20 acres of free land for every slave you own. Just free. Just own one slave. 20 acres of free land. You can come over here as an indentured servant. If you were Italian, you come over here as an indentured servant. You work 5 years, they would give you 10 acres of land. They would pay you and give you 10 acres of land. That's what they like to pull that whole thing about white people being enslaved. No, you were an indentured servant. You came over here willingly. And after you got done, you received land. You received cash payments. You most times participated in the slave trade. Miss me with that. Don't let them fool you with that. See, we've been protecting these other groups for so long, family, that now they think they're entitled. They're disrespectful at this point. They telling us what we can and cannot do. You see what I'm saying? You had Latino folks in the comment section talking about, well, if black people want to do this, we ain't gonna have no coalition. Nigga, we ain't never had no coalition. It's been one-sided this whole time. Family, what has the Latino community done for us? Can somebody tell me that? And I'm not talking about my black brothers and sisters. I'm gonna put this live. I'm gonna try to put this live on YouTube when I get done. So for all the people who saying say it alive, family, what has the Latino community done for black folks? Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. What have they done? They don't hire us. They hire their brothers and sisters. Most of them get over here and identify as white. They classify themselves as white. What have they done for us that's just, oh my God, dude, this is a coalition. We couldn't do it without the Latino community. And I'm speaking about my non-black brothers. I consider all my brothers and sisters no matter where you are black. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about these folks who say they're not black. These Mexicans, because a lot of things we like to pull, and I hear brothers say this all the time. Well, we got to involve brown people. They're 1/3 African. Family, they don't acknowledge that. That's the reason why they hate you so much. They don't acknowledge that. They be hiding they black grandmas. They don't want to be black. We ain't gonna force them to be black. See, everybody's black when it's beneficial. When it's beneficial, when we get some tangibles, now they can smell them tangibles. Now all of a sudden, or well, you know, I'm 125th Negro. Yep. My great grandmother, she was mulatto, and yeah, I'm 125th Negro. See, they love to pull that game. When it's time, they can smell them resources coming. Now all of a sudden, oh, now you're black. Now you got African in your blood. Remember, family, Mexico, because most of these folks come from Mexico. I won't say most of these folks come from Mexico, but my Mexican people, because this is more so the people that we like to ally with. Family, they didn't start acknowledging African ancestry to 2015. They would not allow you in Mexico to check African in the census box into 2015. They've been denying their African lineage for so damn long. They won't even acknowledge it. They just started acknowledging it in 2015. And you have millions of African people in Mexico. You see what I'm saying? But they just wouldn't even let them acknowledge it. Now all of a sudden we owe you? We don't owe you anything. Even if we want to get deeper, family, and we want to talk about before the slave trade, family, we've been helping the Spanish people, those white Hispanics down there. It was brothers like Gaspar Yunga who led one of the biggest slave revolts. You see what I'm saying? In South America and in Central America. He got the Portuguese off that ass. He got the Spaniards off that ass. Built the whole town down there. And I believe it's in Mexico. Y'all know who I'm talking about, Gaspar Yunga. You had the Olmec civilizations. Those bum and pock people. Jet black people who brought that knowledge and wisdom over to Central America. You see what I'm saying? When Columbus came with all that gold, the native people told him, they said, listen, well, African people been coming over here trading in gold-tipped spears. That is in Columbus's journals. They said African people been coming over here with gold-tipped spears. We've been playing with we've been trading with these people. We've been protecting these people. We don't owe them. They have given us nothing, family. Nothing burgers. They have given us nothing but identifying and classifying as white. Even my brothers on the street level know. If you're involved in the streets, you know. The brown community can't be trusted. Look up all those Mexican mafia. The Mexican mafia is partied with groups like the Nazi lowriders, the Aryan Brotherhoods. On the prison level, I got a couple brothers who were locked up, and they were telling me this. It's like, well, in prison, dude, you can't trust them. Because they're honorary white supremacists. They classify themselves as white. Yeah, they all clicked in with the Aryan Brotherhood. All these white supremacist gangs are partnered with these Hispanic gangs. These white Latino gangs. You see what I'm saying? The Latin King, they all partner with white supremacist gangs. And the brothers on the street level know, by the way. They know, by the way. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, my brothers out there in Cali know. Because the gangs is heavy out there. This coalition talk is something that was created in the 60s because everybody started copping pleas. You see what I'm saying? Everybody started wanting to talk about, oh, we're in this together now. Because other groups, they like to watch black people get beat up. And then they see what resources come out of it. And then they say, oh, we're in this together now. Yeah. We're in this together now. No more. Hold your own nuts, Carlos. That's my mood. Hold your own nuts. You're not going to do anything about it because you haven't been doing anything about it in the first place. You're not offering us anything. See, these other groups, us getting mad, talking about, hey, man, they're going to cut us off. Hey, man, they're going to stop riding for us. Chase, you're being divisive, man. Family, they're not doing nothing for you anyway. What are we going to miss out on? Some burritos? You see what I'm saying? What are we missing out on? What is the Chinese community, if we cancel Chinese folks who are also honorary white supremacists, who go out their way to beat up sisters in these beauty supply shops, who leech off the black community, what are they going to do? What are they offering us? We offering them everything. Remember, when they come over here, living 10 to a house, they come to the black community and set up shop. We're the ones who supporting their Chinese restaurants. We the ones supporting. You go in their nail salons, these Chinese nail salons. It's nothing but sisters in there. Nothing but sisters. Y'all already know. You go over in these Korean weave shops. It's nothing but sisters in there. They eat off us. And then turn around and disrespect us. Turn around and disrespect us. Nigga, please. Miss me with that. Miss me with that, family. Arabs, all of them. All of them. Arabs set up their gas stations in our neighborhood. They set up their gas stations in our neighborhood. They eat off us. Y'all know this. Y'all know I'm not lying, family. Nobody just want to say it. We're not gaining nothing from that. You're not bringing anything to the table. And then the irony of that, then our brothers and sisters over there in places like Cuba live like third-class citizens, bottom of the barrel. Brothers and sisters in Mexico, you won't even allow them to identify with their lineage and their heritage. You go out your way to act like they're not a part of you. Brothers and sisters in China getting kicked out. They talking about African people are bringing in the coronavirus when the shit originated in your food markets, because y'all over there, the Chinese community over there, eating bats and rats and raccoons, and they don't want to try to blame it on our brothers and sisters. This is what we get. This is what we get. But we come over here, when their communities come over here, we open up shop. Hey, yeah, welcome in. Come in, my Latino brother. Come in, my Chinese brother. Come in, my Arab brother. Set up your gas station. We're going to patronize you. We're going to help you. Oh, yeah, we're going to mess with you. Hey, because we all in this together. That's what we say. Come on, man. Like I say, man, at the end of the day, it's everybody holding their own nuts from now on. Yeah, they live bad in Cuba, man. They live bad in Cuba. I posted something on that the other day about the racism in Cuba. Remember, family, it's a racial caste system everywhere around the world. It's a racial caste system around the world. Only place that's not a racial caste system is probably Africa. But Africa deals with a different form of white supremacy. Africa deals with white supremacy on the external level. See, African people, and I was talking to a queen the other day about this, and she's from the motherland. And she was talking about, hey, you know, black Americans, y'all need to just come over back to Africa. And, you know, we respect that. We appreciate the love. But listen, we have to understand this. No matter where you go, you're going to have to fight white supremacy. You're going to have to fight the beast. You see what I'm saying? Just because you don't see white people all over Africa, just because they're not the majority in Africa, don't mean they don't control Africa. They put sanctions on African countries. They economically starve them. That's what they're doing to our brothers and sisters in South Africa. The white folks are 10% of the population, but they control the resources. They will never allow you to control the resources. You see what I'm saying? And if they do allow you to control a good portion, they're going to make sure you see a white Jesus. They just built a big old white Jesus in Nigeria. They're going to make sure you know who Master is. You see what I'm saying? Different forms of white supremacy, family. So this is why, as a foundational black American like I am, we have to stay and fight. We can't run from this beast. Yes, we appreciate the love from our brothers and sisters in the motherland. We would love to come over there and visit, but listen, as a foundational black American, my ancestors built this country. My ancestors built this country, and I got to stay and fight for it. This is my country. If anybody's entitled to this country, it's us. We are the original people of this country. Even before the Native American, the so-called Indian, who came over here 10 to 12,000 years over the Bering Straits, we had already been here. You had two waves of black people who had already been here. Brothers and sisters who sailed from West Africa. You also have the Australian Aborigine who had came over here at least 51,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? Before the Native Americans, I'm a foundational black American. Now that doesn't mean I'm not African. I am African. Africa is the motherland. That is my charge, but this is my land too. I'm the first one here too. And I'll be damned if I let any white supremacist, any Latino, any Chinese tell me I need to go somewhere. When I built the country. Built the country. Let's be clear on that. Remember, and I tell the family, and this is why you have to go get my books, Voice of the Ancestors, Volume 1 and 2. Volume 2, we talked about we really don't understand how much we did for this country. We saying our ancestors picked cotton is almost insulting because that's only a small portion. We were cropping tobacco. We were the farmers. Remember, when the white supremacists came here, those Europeans came to in Jamestown, Virginia. They had something called the Jamestown starving times, when many of them starved. See, many white folks, when they first came here, starved. They don't tell you that. They starved to death. Look up Jamestown, Virginia, the Jamestown starvings. They went from 500 people to 50 in a year. They couldn't survive. White people can't do shit. They can't do nothing. They need us all the time. And we saw that in Europe with the Moors. They can't do anything. The Greeks and the Romans sat at the foot of Africans. They went to Kemet to study. They went to Kemet to build. They went to Kemet to get spirituality. They have got nothing without us. You see what I'm saying? After those starving times, when that ended in about 1612, they said, listen, y'all know what time it is. It's time to go get these niggas. It's time to go get these niggas. And then they start bringing us in officially in 1619. Now, we were already here. We had brothers and sisters already being enslaved in the 1500s, down in South America, down in the Caribbeans. You see what I'm saying? You have a book called The Africans and Native Americans by Jack D. Forbes, and he documents this. Some of the first enslaved people in the Americas that were documented were classified as Negroes. Most likely our Moorish brothers and sisters. They had names like Ali, like Muhammad. You see what I'm saying? But they called them Indians because white folks say, I'm white and I say so. So they just make up names. Well, these you say you're more, nigga, you're an Indian. Okay. You see what I'm saying? But we've been eating off us. And then when we came, we're the ones who start setting up these farmings and the agriculture here. We're the ones who are responsible for their higher levels of learning. Remember, Yale was built off slave money. These Ivy League schools. Yale was gifted. Their first scholarship was gifted by a plantation owner out of the West Indies. I can't remember his name. William something, I believe it was. I can't remember his name, but they were gifted their first scholarships by a plantation owner out of the West Indies. That's slave money. Harvard, slave money. Brown, slave money. Wall Street, the economic center of America. Stocks and bonds, where all the money of America is. The first stocks and bonds were slaves. Remember, we were considered property. It's an injustice just to reduce us to slavery. Just to reduce us to picking cotton. We were the first stocks and bonds, family. We built the wall to call it Wall Street. White people didn't do anything. It was a brother, Benjamin Banneker, who laid out the Capitol, Washington, D.C. You see what I'm saying? He was the mastermind behind that layout. That architecture that they have in D.C. The Washington Monument. That is nothing but the Tekanuk or obelisk out of ancient Kemet. All the designs you see in D.C., you can go back and see it in Kemet. And if you don't know what Kemet is, that's ancient Egypt. You see what I'm saying? But we call it by its original name, in which our people called it. You see what I'm saying? Everything. All that Mason, they love to talk about the founding fathers. They were Masons. Family. Masonry is nothing but the study of Moorish science. It's nothing but the study of Moorish science. Our great elder, George G.M. James, taught us that. George G.M. James wrote a book called Stolen Legacy that talks about all Masonry is the study of Moorish science. You dig? That's all it is. It's the study of Moorish science, family. The knowledge that the Moors gave to them when they reamped Europe. Because remember, when they got over there, Europeans couldn't even read and write. All they knew how to do was go to war. Because that's all they do. Then they want to turn around and say, black on black crime. Your whole existence, you've been dealing with white on white crime. You see what I'm saying? And they love to talk about the North. Oh, the North didn't have slavery. The North wasn't built. Like I said, those schools, those cities. Baltimore was a slave port. Baltimore was built off slavery. Philadelphia was built off slavery. Charleston, South Carolina was built off slavery. Savannah, Georgia, New Orleans, Louisiana was built off slavery. These were slave ports. Everything was built around the number one asset in America, which was enslaved African people. Even when the North stopped having slavery, remember, the South was we were picking the cotton in the South, and we provided jobs for Northern whites. who had all the textile mills. They had to process the cotton. So even if it wasn't slavery in the North, they were processing the cotton in the North and then shipping it out. Remember, we were responsible for 80% of the world's cotton at the time. You see what I'm saying? We were a big part of these insurance policies. We were some of the early assets of banks like Bank of America, like J.P. Morgan. All this goes back to slave ties. Don't let them play with you, family. Many of these founding fathers, like George Washington, you see what I'm saying? He was a slave owner, owned over 100 slaves. The Bush family, George W. Bush, they have slave money. Their great-grandfather, their great-great-great, I believe 3-time great-grandfather, Thomas Walker, I believe his name was. He was a notorious slave trader. He had several ships that would go to West Africa to get slaves. Old slave money. Old slave money, family. And I'm going light. Like I said, that's why you got to get the book. Because we detail and we source it in the book. And they won't deny this. They won't deny this because it's in receipts. And because we get this from their scholars, they admit this. They admit this, family. So we built this country. We built this country. Yeah. South Carolina, Louisiana, Baltimore, all those. Those are slave colonies, family. Everything was built off the enslavement of African people. Everything. And we got nothing for it. Imagine, family. Imagine having 20 people working for you right now. But you don't have to pay them. Imagine having 20 people right now. Say you have a local Walmart and you get all 20 employees' paycheck every 2 weeks. You will be rich. You will be living pretty damn good. And you can do anything with them. Because remember, they were raping us. They were doing what we were property. We were seen as commodities. But they want to act like, oh, that was no big deal. That was no big deal. You see what I'm saying? We built this country at the end of the day. So what I was saying before, going back to my point, white supremacy, family, is global. You see what I'm saying? This is why you see brothers and sisters turning up everywhere. Shout out to my brothers and sisters in the UK. I got a beautiful queen over there, Miss Alegna Queen. She edited my book. Shout out to the UK. The UK brothers are turning up right now. Shout out to my UK brothers and sisters. They're tearing down statues. And see, a lot of us, we think racism, white folks have made us convinced that racism is just the United States. That, oh, well, if you go to other places, if you go to London, if you go to Sweden, if you go to all these other places, racism is not like that. Stop. Our brothers and sisters are dealing with systematic white supremacy over there as well. That's why they turning up over there. Yeah, UK got some riders. The UK has always had, see, UK, we be making fun of our UK brothers and sisters because they got a little accent. You see what I'm saying? Nigga, our UK brothers and sisters, they don't have guns over there, by the way. They will stab your ass and eat an English muffin afterwards. UK brothers get down. I know a couple UK brothers. Riders over there. Shout out to the UK brothers and sisters. Yes, nigga, they will stab you and eat an English muffin after they get done. They don't play. They cold with that knife game over there in the UK. Because they don't allow them to have guns. And we kind of been spoiled by guns. See, our hand game ain't up like that. That's why a lot of them boxers come out the UK. Because, see, brothers got to have their hand game up. They ain't doing no shooting over there. They can't have no guns. So their hand game is nice. Their knife game is nice. And I've been seeing a couple white supremacists get them paws put on them over there in the UK. Yeah. These niggas in the UK got some hands, dog. My dogs in the UK got some hands, bruh. That's why, like I say, all them boxers come out the UK. They don't be messing with them UK brothers. You see what I'm saying? They will go eat an English muffin after they get done stabbing your ass. Y'all better stop playing, man. So, yeah, everybody, but see, this is what happens when we all on code. See, white supremacy is not safe anywhere right now. White supremacy is not safe anywhere right now. You dig? It is not safe anywhere. You dig? And they're desperate. And pretty much right now, family, hold on one second. Let me get a swig of water. And pretty much right now, family, these white supremacists like Donald Trump, they have made declarations of war. Now, if you haven't heard, Donald Trump, Peace, God. God athlete. How old are you, brother? I'm 25. 25. I'm a young soldier in the game. Donald Trump, family, has decided he's going to do a rally on June 19th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let me talk about that real quick. He has decided he's going to do a rally on June 19th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, a little bit back history for my people who might not know. June 19th is the quote-unquote official day that slavery ended in the United States. The last slaves were set free in Texas on June 19th. You see what I'm saying? So he's going to do it on that day in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the site of the Black Wall Street Massacre. Black Wall Street was probably one of the most prosperous black neighborhoods in United States history. You see what I'm saying? And he's going to do it there on that day. And this is nothing, family. We have to look at this for what it is. It's nothing but a declaration of war. It's nothing but a declaration of war. He says, I'm going to do it on your quote-unquote holiday, the day you were set free. I'm going to declare war back on you again. That's all that is, family. That's all that is. Okay, say he changed it to the 20th. He's glad he changed that to the 20th because even Donald Trump acts stupid. These white supremacists know some shit was going to go down on the 19th. Because, that ancestral spirit would have been heavy on the 19th. Not only do you have all the enslaved African ancestors who were going to be woke that day, you have the victims of the Tulsa, Oklahoma Black Wall Street Massacre that were going to be woke. See, he had to change that to the 20th. And it's still going to go down on the 20th. It's still going to go down on the 20th. You dig? But that's still a declaration of war. He had to change that. And his advisors probably said, bro, you need to change this. The spirit of Ogun is going to be alive and well on the 19th. It's going to be plenty of brothers out there with the smoke on the 19th. So he had to change that to the 20th. Okay, yeah, he changed it to the 20th. Yeah, he better change that. Did he change the location too, family? Is he still doing it in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Did he? Okay, so he's still doing it in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Yeah, if he's still doing it in Tulsa, he might need to change that location too. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be some brothers with some Ogun energy out there. And family, for my family who's going out there, if you're listening for Oklahoma, you know somebody in Oklahoma, I want to talk about this as well. We have to start being strategic at these movements, at these rebellions. Because that's what they are. That's what they are. We have to learn how to be organized at these rebellions. And I talked about last time, family, if you're going to go to one of these protests, they were out here in Atlanta. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to go. I don't believe in marching, so most times I don't go. Only time I might go one day because I want to look at it from a militant standpoint. Look at it from an energy standpoint. You see what I'm saying? We have to start being strategic at these protests, family. We have to start being strategic. Before I go any further, the video is about to end, family. I'm going to end the video. I only got 1 minute remaining. I'm going to end the video and come right back. So all 43 people, I'm going to end the video and come right back. Hold on 1 second.